Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, we go racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, as well as the Cup Series. No big news coming in this episode at all, but I can tell you already there's some quite big news coming here in a few episodes' time now as we came through into the Truck Series weekend, though, where we had a subscriber, JC Malia. I hope I pronounced your name right. Let me know if I did not. But there you see him in the truck here. He actually qualified on the pole. We had a pole here in the Truck Series. Usually in the Truck and Xfinity race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, we are always the best car or truck, so we expected nothing less really than a win here today in Atlanta, at least in the Truck Series side of things. And JC got off to a tremendous start here in Atlanta now, as he would take off right off the bat here as he came through turns 1 and 2. And you're going to see as he came through out of turns 2 going down this back straightaway, no pressure whatsoever as he was long gone from the field. And it's really surprising how easy the AI is in the Trucks and Xfinity series on Legend difficulty and Cup series. You can still have a really good run even just on a normal preset setup. Now as he came through at a turn 4, coming through to complete his first in opening lap. But the story of this race here for JC was just him driving away and it really being under absolutely no pressure whatsoever, defending champions. Of course, we are here in the Truck Series as a team owner, and we have yet to pick up a win this season, but that would be about to change now as he came through to the final lap here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, down into turn 3, almost a straightaway ahead here as he went down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. So out of turns 4 for the first time this season as an owner, we are going to pick up a victory with JC Malia behind the wheel as he crosses the line to get the win here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So a great effort there from us there as you see the top 10 now down towards the top 20. Rajal Karuth down there in the mid-teens finishing positions. We got Ben Rhodes in 28th, and then Jennifer Jo Cobb at the bottom of the field now as we come through into the Xfinity Series weekend. Of course, once again, expecting a great run here from Paul Menard full-time in our car this season. As you see, Mike Harmon, he's happy with us, so that's always good. We don't want him threatening to take us to Applebee's or something after this race here as we get ready. And we got David Starr, who failed technical inspection. Fortunately for him, he does not have to worry about Noah Gragson here today in Atlanta now as we got underway, though, for the Xfinity Series race with Paul Menard behind the wheel. So he qualified not on pole. He actually made a mistake in qualifying, and that's why he was a little bit further down the field compared to our truck with JC Malia behind the wheel. So he came through down into turns 1 and 2 here in the Echo Park at 250 on this opening lap, and would make it 3 wide down the back straightaway immediately, as currently the 20 car of Christian Eckes found himself out in front. Haley Deegan just in front of Paul Menard. Her future is uncertain in the Cup Series, at least in the career mode. She could potentially be replacing Kevin Harvick next season, or she could be going elsewhere, or she could still be in that 98 car in the Xfinity Series next season. So you're going to have to watch out to see what happens. But we'll come through a little bit later here. Now out of turns 4, Paul Menard up the inside of Deegan, and then makes it 3 wide up the inside of the one of Timmy Hill, who picked up his first Xfinity Series win in the last episode, and he would go through to the lead. So for the first time this season as an owner, we are leading here in the Xfinity Series with Paul Menard behind the wheel as he had also passed the 20 car. So we came through straight to the final lap of this race. No pressure whatsoever. Once again, as soon as Paul was able to take the lead, he drove away and he came through out of turns 4 for the final time here in Atlanta. For the first time this season, we will pick up the win at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now I feel like every time we come here in both Trucks and Xfinity, it's basically a guaranteed win for our team. So very happy to get the victory here, of course, with Paul Menard behind the wheel as you see the rest of the finishing order. I got the names corrected now. JJ Yaley is in the 89 and Carl Long is in the 66 now as we come through into the Cup Series side of things for Atlanta. A track that we always enjoy racing at. I remember back in NASCAR Heat 4 career mode, we were able to pick up a victory here in that 41 car. I believe we were driving the Aeros paint scheme at that time. So we get our qualifying effort underway. The goal was to hit a 29.196 here. So I was confident that we probably, once again, were not going to beat that goal, but we came through now out of turns 4, heading down this front straightaway, coming to the line a little bit off with the 29.783 for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500, and that puts us P25, so not a great qualifying effort. I did clip the apron in turns 3 and 4, made a bit of a mistake, and that kind of had an effect on the poor effort there. As you see, Noah Gragson, Chase Briscoe down there in the 30s, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Preece as well. Ryan Preece had a ton of speed last episode at Phoenix, and his poor pit stop going into stage 3 took his chances of victory away. As Kevin Harvick and Kyle Larson, they'll make up the front row here for Atlanta Motor Speedway. Alright, boys, a mile and a half has been good to us this season so far, so hopefully we can continue that over to today. So, yeah, let's go have a good one. There, you heard myself on the radio now as we're going to get ready to go green here for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. You see in the stories of the race, Chase Elliott actually posted some fast laps in practice, so maybe keep an eye out for that 9 car. Our Hendrick Motorsports teammate today, Brad Keselowski's car is really fast today. Definitely keep an eye out for him. He's been winless for over a season now in the career mode here as Kevin Harvick starts on pole. So, of course, we start outside of the top 20, unfortunately, so we got quite a bit of work in store for us here today at Atlanta now as we're going to get ready to take the green flag behind the 17 of Chris Buescher now as Atlanta Motor Speedway is underway here now as we start from the 25th position. Kevin Harvick in his final season at a track he's been known to be very good and strong at in the past starts on pole and looks for his first win of his final season here in the Cup Series. Behind us, we've got Daniel Suarez in that number 99 Pump It Up Trackhouse Camaro now as we go down this backstretch up the inside of the 42 of Ross Chastain there in that McDonald's Chevrolet here as we go down diving into turns 3. A lot of cool modded paint schemes that we always get to see now each and every single episode, and I just love racing around all these different modded cars. Of course, I want to get some 2021 paint schemes on a driver like Chris Buescher, who's right in front of us right now in that 17 car. As we dive up the inside of him, make it 3 wide for a brief moment between him and Joey Logano, but Logano was able to get clear of that 17, and now we're going to go up the inside of now Almirola and Logano, make it 3 wide with them as we exit turns 2, and we're going to get side by side with Christopher Bell. First time this season we've seen that Irwin Tools paint scheme now as we're going to dive up the inside of the 3 car of Austin Dillon. So right off the bat here in the first couple laps there as I go sideways, a little bit of contact with the 3 of Austin Dillon. He saves it, both of us keep it straight, but right off the bat we're gaining quite a few positions here in these first couple laps, and it would continue on. We come through out of turns 2 now on lap 3, and we were up the inside of the 6 of Todd Gilliland and had now moved up into P17. So now we would continue on this move through the field up the inside of the 88, then the inside of the 02 of Eric Jones, and then also get up the inside of the Red Bull of Casey Kane and pass him as well. So those 3 cars kind of fading backwards a little bit now as we came through the center of 1 and 2. And then we also passed the number 16 of Justin Haley, a rookie for that new colleague racing team here. So already closing in on a top 10 position as Denny Hamlin had briefly taken the lead, but Kevin Harvick, he would actually end up taking it back here as we came through to lap 7. Now as we actually have a spin out of turn 4, William Byron goes around a heavy hit to the outside while a bunch of cars actually involved, the 21, the 1, the 43, the 96, and the 37 as well. A big hit right at the end, but unfortunately the replay cut out, but a violent hit right there for William Byron, and that would take him out of the race. I would stay out here along with a bunch of other drivers as a bunch of the guys behind us would come into the pit lane here, or actually I should say a bunch of guys kind of in the mix in front of us and behind us came into the pit lane. So we would get back underway here on lap 9 coming to lap 10, and then I had come to a realization that we are not going to make it on field to the end of this first stage, and everybody that pitted is going to be very close to making it on field. So this could really put us in an awkward position where everybody that stayed out, if we don't get another caution, we're going to have to pit under the green flag conditions, and then the guys that stayed out can put us a lap down, stay out, and potentially get very close to making it to the end of the stage and trapping close to half the field potentially, or even more, a lap down at the end of stage 1. So that was a bit of a concern that I had come to a realization of here as we came through to 15 laps to go. So now I was trying to think of how we're going to get ourselves out of this, and the only option is to, of course, just make sure we're going to be in the lucky dog position. But, I mean, that would basically mean we would have to pass the 4 of Kevin Harvick, who clearly has a lot more speed in that number 4 car than I do right now. In this number 24 Pepsi Camaro here is up the inside of Denny Hamlin, who had briefly taken the lead earlier, but then lost it again to Kevin Harvick now as Hamlin drops back to P7. Alex Bowman up in the top 10 right now as we're just kind of running behind our rival of Joey Logano. I was kind of following him through the order here. I was surprised. I moved up to P5 up the inside of the number 18 of Kyle Busch there in that M&M's Toyota Camry here as we dive down into turns 3. Definitely don't think we have top 5 speed. I think a lot of the guys that pitted, quite a few of them are definitely faster than myself at this point in the race. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here at the end of stage 1 now as we came through now to lap 17. I was now trying to make a pass on the inside of the 22 of Joey Logano. The tire light had now come on to warn me that we were down to 20% on that right rear tire. Some contact with Logano into turn 3, and that was because he was crossing over to actually get ready to make a green flag pit stop, and I just wasn't ready for it. So I move up. Him and Austin Cindric, the 2 Penske teammates, come into the pit lane, and now we were about to be forced onto the pit lane, as well as it was appearing that we were not going to get that caution we were kind of hoping for here late in stage 1. Kevin Harvick, Tyler Reddick, and myself at the end of lap 18 all decided to come into the pit lane. Ryan Ryan Preece. He's going to stay out at least one extra lap as we overtake the 8 car and gain a lot of ground on the back of the 4 of Harvick. So we come in and we have no other choice than to put 4 tires on the car as well as 2 cans of fuel, because if we get into a position where we are trapped a lap down at the end of the stage and not in a lucky dog position, we're going to have to take the wave around, and we definitely need to make sure we have as much fuel in the car and as good of tires as we can get on this thing here, as we would exit actually surprisingly in front of the 4 of Kevin Harvick. So all of a sudden we're going to indeed be in the lucky dog position. Even Tyler Reddick was able to get in front of that 4 car off of the pit lane. So now, no matter what, if we get trapped a lap down here at the end of stage 1, we are going to be in a spot to get the lucky dog and be on that lead lap no matter what at the start of stage 2. Brad Keselowski was currently leading at this point here with a handful of laps to go. As we came through to 5 to go, we were now cycling out to about P13 or so, and we're just hoping that these next 12 cars in front of us were not going to make it on field to the end of this first stage. And Brad Keselowski would actually be pitting from the lead here at the end of this lap. Kyle Larson would end up cycling through to the lead. I had passed now the 38 of John Hunter Nemechek, who would end up becoming the leader after Kyle Larson had pitted. So we were now on the lead lap as we came through to the final 2 laps of stage 2, and John Hunter, he had now started the final lap in this first stage. So I'm coming through turns 1 and 2, keeping an eye out on everything that's going on, looking back to see what's going on back there, because everybody that can pass that 38 car is going to be in great shape going into stage 2. And one of those drivers was Austin Cindric in the number 33 car. The 4 of Kevin Harvick had also gotten past the 38. So as we came through out of turns 4, coming through to start the final lap of stage 1, the 38 of John Hunter Nemechek, he was already coming through to win stage 1 here. So he's going to be able to pick up a playoff point simply based on strategy and staying out and having enough fuel to make it to the end, while everybody else that played the same strategy didn't feel like they could make it, so they came in to pit now as we come through down the back straightaway into turn 3 for the final time here in stage 1. So all of a sudden, we're going to somehow get P2 in stage 1, and it's going to be close to 30 seconds after first place crosses the line as we exit turns 4, heading down the front straightaway. It's going to be P2 here in stage 1. That was a bit of a wacky stage, guys, but we got a good finish out of it, so hopefully this sets us up well here for the second stage. There you heard myself on the radio. You see Austin Cindric, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano round out the top 5 behind myself, as well as John Hunter Nemechek up there in P1. Eric Jones in the McLaren rounds out the top 10 here. As you see a whole bunch of cars now trapped a lap down because of this whole strategy situation, and they are going to have to take the wave around here, and that also means they will have to come into the pit lane before anybody else here in stage 2. But a bunch of those drivers decided to not take the wave around and instead pit and remain a lap down. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here as we start stage 2. And of course, for the start of stage 2, we're going to go through into the AMP segment here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Two laps complete here in stage 2. You saw it all in AMP. We took the lead, but now we're under pressure from the 33 of Austin Cindric, as well as his Penske teammate of Joey Logano here as we come through out of turn 2, heading down this back straightaway. And I just straight up didn't have the short run speed to contend with a driver like Austin Cindric, Joey Logano, as well as Kevin Harvick, who are all right behind me. We go down to the bottom here in turn 3, and I had absolutely nothing for these guys. You're going to see them on the exit of turn 4 blow my doors off there as Cindric goes by, Logano goes by, as well as Kevin Harvick would get by as we came through now down into turn 3 on lap 4. Logano actually makes a move up the inside of his teammate of Austin Cindric for the lead. Love what I'm seeing so far this season from Austin Cindric, other than one bad race recently here, or a few bad races now as we came through to cross the line to start lap 5. 19 laps to go in stage 2, and now as we came through to 14 laps to go. Surprisingly, these guys didn't really pull away from me, as now the kind of tire situation was starting to play into my favor. So we were right up here now, once again, in the mix right behind the 22 of Logano, trying to be very careful around Logano. Of course, him being a rival, I want to get him away from being a rival. So we're being as careful as we can be when we're around that 22 of Joey Logano here as we came through down this front straightaway. Cindric back to the front now as there's actually trouble behind us. So into turn 3, Todd Gilliland blows a right front tire, and that's going to bring out a caution here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So now we're going to see one driver get the lucky dog. We're going to come into the pit lane. I actually decided to add a little bit of grill tape, but Alex Bowman would get the lucky dog here as we would get ready for the restart. You see Joey Logano lost 2 positions on the pit lane. Brandon Jones stayed out, and he is going to be in the lead after picking up his first win last episode in the Cup Series after a strategy situation and to end that race as we're back underway with 10 laps to go now in stage 2. Behind us, we got the 14 of Chase Briscoe. We got Noah Gregson. Chase Elliott's back there in the mix as well here as we go down through the center of turns 1 and 2. Briscoe, he's going to drop down to the bottom. Very smart move there as Ryan Blaney's going to try and follow along here as we go down this back straightaway here. So we're just trying to find a way to that inside lane, but either way, Brandon Jones, he's going to move up to the outside and really hold up this outside that we're on, the 33 of Cindric. He goes to the middle. I decide, you know what, I'm going to take a 3 wide to the outside. I'm going to try and make this work here and maybe kind of get that 33 shuffled back a little bit because we know how fast he is, but unfortunately that did not work in my favor at all. He was already clear by the time he went down into turns 1, so Kevin Harvick would find himself back out front over second place of Logano. Third place was now to Chase Briscoe, who's also gotten a win this season most recently at Auto Club Speedway now, as this is already shaping up to be quite the interesting playoff bracket, I think, here as we go down into turns 3 wide with the 96, as well as our teammate Kyle Larson in the 5. Larson's been close to a victory this season, couldn't quite pull it off there recently now as we came through to cross the line. Now we were falling down the order though once again here as we went down into turn 3 on lap 16, and we were now down into that 9th spot as Gregson tries to go by on the outside. And now I was having a big issue. My temperature light was coming on. I had put some grill tape on during the pit stop. Unfortunately, moving it up by 1 click to 40% was too much, and I was starting to lose horsepower, but fortunately the caution would come out and kind of save us. I wasn't going to come into the pit lane here and give up stage points, but we were going to stay out and kind of get a reset button on the oil temperature in the car, so that will keep us safe to the end of stage 2 here. A really luckily timed caution, because I think if it stayed green, we were probably going to fall outside of the top 10, potentially just kind of, once the car got hot, we just lost some horsepower and couldn't quite keep up now as we get ready to go green for the final 3 laps now of stage 2. Of course, we still got the same grill tape on the car, but we're only going to have to do 3 laps, so it should not be too much of an issue here as we're back underway. Chase Elliott, they're up to P9 as Brandon Jones looks up my inside into turns 1. Joey Logano now in front of Kevin Harvick here as we come through out of turn 2, right on the back of that 12 of Ryan Blaney. Blaney was close to picking up a potential victory last episode at Phoenix, and then of course when the whole strategy thing went down, you saw Brandon Jones being able to prevail and pick up that victory now as we were all the way up to the top here through turns 3 and 4. Didn't quite make it work here, so we settled into P10 for a moment, but we came through to 2 to go, and now on the exit of turns 2, we were up the inside of the 12 of Ryan Blaney here, now moving up into that 9th position and clearing him with absolutely no problem at all. As we go down into turn 3, Austin Cindric was going for the lead now up the inside of Joey Logano. There was a lot of shuffling back and forth up front, mainly between Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, as well as Austin Cindric. Now as we make a 3 wide to the outside of the 1 and the 14 of Gregson and Briscoe into turns 1, and Gregson kind of backs out of it. We remain side by side into the corner, but you look up ahead, Brad Keselowski on this final lap of stage 2. He has finally gotten himself up into the mix here as we go down this backstretch for the final time in stage 2. Diving down into turn 3, Logano though looks in position to win the stage as Keselowski passes his teammate of Cindric, as well as he passes Kevin Harvick as we exit turn 4. It's going to be P9 in stage 2 for us. Joey Logano wins stage 2 and picks up a playoff point as we cross the line for 2 spots there, or 2 points now, as Ryan Blaney rounds out the top 10. So far, a very strong day for the Penske Racing team. They got all 4 of their cars inside the top 10, with Blaney kind of struggling, quote unquote, compared to his other 3 teammates, Keselowski, Logano, as well as Cindric. As you saw, the only adjustment I made there was taking the grill tape off the car that I put on the pit stop before. As Kyle Busch, he will now get the lucky dog here as we get ready to go back green. So still a lot of cars a lap down just because of what happened there at the end of stage 1. We see currently Todd Gilliland, Tyler Reddick, as well as William Byron all have DNF from this race as we get ready to go green for the 3rd and final stage. 9th place here on the inside lane opens up a lot of opportunities to gain a bunch of spots here as we are now underway for the start of stage 3 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. On our outside, we got that number 12 of Ryan Blaney. On the row behind us, it's Zane Smith in the McLaren in his 2nd season of the Cup Series, as well as Ross Chastain there in that number 42 car, who's had probably the best start to his career here, at least in the career mode now, as he's struggled a lot in that 42 car in the first few seasons. Of course, at the end of last season, he picked up a win at Martinsville for the first time in his Cup Series career, and currently finds himself inside the playoffs this season now, which would be a first time if he can hold on throughout the rest of the next 20 races or so here through the regular season, as we came through to complete the lap here in Atlanta. Now 26 laps to go as we were up the inside of our teammate Chase Elliott, and I was actually having quite a tricky time being able to make my way through traffic here early on in stage 1. You see me trying to complete the pass on the 9 of Elliott, but I couldn't quite make it happen. We come through to turns 4. Elliott was actually able to get clear of me, and I once again would kind of keep trying to make a pass on his inside here and there. It did not work, and then he would actually end up passing both the 22 of Logano and the 1 of Gregson. So now I had run these 2 drivers down. Kyle Larson was now leading over Kevin Harvick. Brad Keselowski was still up in the mix, and so was Austin Cindric. But now I look up the inside of the 1 of Gregson as we dive down into turn 3 on lap 64, and we clear Gregson actually no problem at all. So we move now up into P7 and try to run down our rival of Joey Logano and move up into that 6th spot. And sure enough, as we came to lap 67, we had now gotten towards that back bumper of Logano as Brad Keselowski had now taken the lead. The tire light has come on, but Keselowski looking for that first win in over a season here on the career mode, as we had some cars now starting their green flag pit stop. So we knew it was coming any moment here. I was hoping that maybe a caution would come out, but it did not look like it was going to happen as we came through now to lap 68 through turn 3. And for Joey Logano, he's the first one of this group up here towards the top 7 that comes into the pit lane. So now as we come through to start lap 69, nice, I was deciding to actually wait a little bit longer than these other cars. Keselowski pits from the lead, Larson, Harvick follows. Then we come through though to the end of now lap 70, and I decided to come into the pit lane, joining my Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Chase Elliott. So we're going to take 4 tires as well as a can and a half of fuel, and we came in a little bit behind the 9, and we exit quite a bit ahead of the 9 of Chase Elliott. So our team so far on pit road has been tremendous today, giving us an opportunity to potentially go and fight for the victory now, because we're already cycling back towards the track, and Keselowski, he's just coming out now, and you look at all the cars around us. Keselowski, Harvick, Cindric, we pitted about a lap or 2 after them, so we're going to have a very slight tire advantage here as we dive down towards turns 3. Harvick nearly drives into the right side of my car, actually. Now as we're going to the corner, approaching the final 10 laps of this race, so we were right in this fight now with Kevin Harvick, Noah Gragson. Cindric was now exiting the pit lane here as he came through at a turn 2. He's going to cycle out behind us as we make a pass, move up into P2, but Kevin Harvick, he would actually fight back up my inside now into turn 3 on lap 72, so we would drift back down to P3 and just try to hang with him here in this final handful of laps, but nobody had anything for Brad Keselowski at this point. Now as we actually get a caution though on lap 74, and a bunch of drivers are just selecting to come into the pit lane. Noah Gragson, Ryan Blaney, Zane Smith, John Hunter Nemechek, Eric Almirola, Eric Jones, a bunch of drivers a lap down as well for some reason. I guess they determined they can't make it to the end, but now we have a chance here to potentially steal a race victory at Atlanta Motor Speedway within the final 5 laps here as we get ready to go green for what will be the final restart of the day. Didn't see that coming, boys, but yeah, I'll give it everything I got here and maybe get us another dub. With the way our car has driven today in terms of speed, I did not expect to be in this position here now as we are back underway here late in this race. 4 laps to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway as we start to get a little bit of momentum to the back of the 2 of Keselowski. I thought about making it 3 wide into turn 1, but I didn't quite like how close I had gotten by the time we got to the corner, just a little bit too far back now, so I gave him a bit of a push instead here as we come through out of turns 2. Harvick, he's going to get clear down the back straightaway. We got Cindric behind us, Alex Bowman. Larson actually got clear into turn 3. That was not what I wanted. As soon as Larson got clear, I knew our chances of winning had gotten quite a bit worse than what they were beforehand, as as we exit turns 4 right on the back of the 5 of Larson. Cindric still to my outside here as I'm trying to get clear of him and go battle it out with Larson and Harvick, who are now side by side here in the final 3 laps of this race now as we dive down into turns 1, trying to get clear of that 33. Finally, we do, and we get to the back of Kyle Larson, looking to the left-hand side for a moment, but he gets clear down the back straightaway, so I end up settling in behind him, and instead of maybe making an aggressive move 3 wide up the inside, I decide to actually try and push the 5 of Larson, get him ahead of the 4, and see what we can do with Brad Keselowski, but once again, it doesn't work. Keselowski has such a fast car that no one has anything for him, so we would get up the inside now of Kevin Harvick into turn 3, approaching the final lap of the race. We take P3 away, and once again get to the back of second place of Kyle Larson here as we come through to start the final lap at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Volkswagen Quick Trip 500. Cindric to the inside of Harvick behind us here as we dive down into turns 1 on this final lap in Atlanta. Keselowski leading the way. We're now up the inside of Kyle Larson, looking for that runner-up position. Keselowski, it's been over a season since he's won. Last season didn't win a single race. But that's about to change today as we dive down into turn 3 for the final time. Up the inside of Larson, we clip the apron a little bit sideways there as we exit turn 4. Now is the 33. He's going to go spinning behind us. Cindric collects Kevin Harvick. A big hit there out of turn 4 on the final lap. Bowman involved, a bunch of damage on his car as Keselowski wins. Larson second, myself third, and Cindric spins in the infield. The caution came out moments before the checkered flag waved, but of course Keselowski was going to win either way here in Atlanta. I think that's the most crashes we've had so far this season in the career mode. There was quite a few there with early on in the race, William Byron, we had Todd Gilliland, and then we had right at the end there Austin Cindric, who ended up at P18, I think I said, instead of having a 4th place finish. So very unfortunate for him, but still overall a half decent finish considering what happened there on that final lap. But Brad Keselowski picks up his first win of the season, and now really kind of making a statement that he definitely still deserves to be in the top ride, and definitely kind of helps his case of maybe staying in the 2 car or potentially moving over to the 4 car in replace of Kevin Harvick. Now, as you see the points on your screen for all 3 series here, the Truck Series, we lead the playoff grid and just overall standings in general with our team. So very good over there on that side of things. In the Xfinity Series, we are as well now up to P2 in the playoff grid and towards the front here in the regular season standings, as well as we're having a good season in trucks as well as Xfinity. Now, as you see the Cup Series grid, we lead the way there as well and lead the regular season points in general. So we're having a great season all around here in all 3 series, and hopefully it continues like this. As you see at the very bottom, Noah Gragson currently the last car in the playoffs with Bowman, Haley, Byron all within 10 points there, the first 3 drivers out. So going to be interesting to see what happens definitely in the next episode at one of my favorite tracks of Homestead, Miami. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, you do know what to do. I'd like to quickly say thank you to the Going Racing members of MJ, Aiden, James, Joseph 9001, RJ, Timothy, Bubba Jr., Illinois Diecast, Devin Roth, NASCAR Collector 3, as well as Movement. As I always say, you guys help me out a lot, and I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys out in the next one for Homestead Miami. Have a great day, everybody.